Zach Ertz, one of the most eventful summers in the National Football League. So can you tell me a little bit about travel back and forth to France? How long were you there? What was it like? What did you do?
Yeah, so the summer was one of a kind, very unique, obviously. Finished minicamp Thursday, Friday evening, red-eye to Paris. Was in Paris for 2 weeks, Lyon for a week. Saw 6 of the 7 World Cup games. Luckily, we played a long time. Won a world championship. Always fun. Incredible to be a part of. See the journey, see the grit, determination of the girls. But I was there. I would train during the day, 2 days on, a day off, 2 days on, a day off. And I had a great training routine. Nike helped set up everything for training-wise, so that was all taken care of. But it was really cool to just go there, be a supportive husband, kind of lay low, be out of the shadows, and just focus on Julie doing her thing.
How was it for you to be like, as much as you've accomplished, having one of the great seasons a tight end ever had last year, and then a few months later, you're Mr. Julie Ertz.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that like for you?
No, I love it. I love being kind of just a supportive husband in that role. I see the work that Julie does on a day-to-day basis, and to see the sacrifices that we make as a couple each and every day, to be able to be over there and see all those sacrifices be rewarded. It was so cool. And then after every game, I was able to have like a one-on-one, intimate, face-to-face, just the two of us after all their games, because the security would let me down there right on the edge of the stands. She knew exactly where I was sitting, so she would come up, see me after every game. And so we were able to share a little moment immediately after her games, which was really unique. So that was probably the thing I'll remember the most, for those kind of one-on-one interactions after the games.
Were you thinking at all of what I can learn from this, or were you just in the moment enjoying it? Because I wonder what sort of lessons you take from the U.S. women's national team that you might think could help you in your world.
Yeah, no, I think the thing about that team that is unique, I think, is their constant belief in themselves. That's something, like, every time they step on the pitch, they know they're going to win. There's never a doubt, there's never an inkling that a loss is even a possibility. And I think just that mentality really resonated with me. Obviously, they're the #1 team in the world. They should feel that confidence, but even if the game is maybe 50-50, the outcome in the minds of everyone else, in their mind it's 100%. There's no chance that they're going to fail, even on the greatest stage. They have all the confidence in the world that they're never going to fail. And I think just kind of seeing that play out over 3 weeks of me being there was really cool to take that, every time we step on the field as Eagles, we should have that same confidence. Not that we expect that we know we're going to win every game, but just every time we walk on the field, that the loss cannot be even in our minds. And so that was probably the biggest lesson that I learned over there.
The one game I remember, and I was on vacation in England with my family at the time, but we watched the game in Paris against France.
Yeah.
And the noise in the stadium sounded like the noise, at a Philadelphia-Dallas game when it's tied 20-20 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Tell me what the atmosphere of that game, you're playing the home country, probably the toughest game in this tournament.
Yeah.
What was the atmosphere in the stadium like?
It was probably the coolest atmosphere I've been a part of, especially from a fan's perspective. Football, if we're playing at home, when the offense is on the field, it's pretty quiet. Like, the fans aren't going crazy unless there's a big play. But when the defense is on the field, they're pretty much always loud. In soccer, though, it's the whole game, 90 minutes. These fans in Paris were going nuts. They have all their national chants. There's so much national pride for all these countries. And it was just such a unique environment to be there. It felt like 11 girls on the pitch versus 50,000 French people in the stands. And they were singing, they were dancing, they were cheering the names of the girls for the French team. And so it was definitely one of the coolest environments I've ever been a part of.
Segue of the week. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm kind of taken with the fact that, Doug Peterson, both with me and in several things in the media, has said, I wish I could do a few things differently from last year. I think maybe I made some mistakes. I wish we had a tougher training camp. I wish that I was a little bit more on the edge. kind of riverboat gambler like I was in 2017. But I wonder, when you look back at last year and do sort of a self-scout on why you had a good year but not a great year, what do you think?
That's a great question. I think I faced a lot of adversity. It seemed like everything that could go wrong kind of did go wrong. In 2017, it felt like everything went right. Last year kind of felt like the opposite. We had two games, especially early on. We were up 17 points in the fourth quarter and lose those two games. And if we win those two games, we end up 11-5, 9-7. The perception is different, but the fact of the matter is we lost those two games. And so just maintaining that focus, never letting up. Like Doug said, always being the aggressor in those situations. Even when you're up 17 points, you can't just kind of expect to win. And I think we learned a lot of valuable lessons handling that success like we did, for better or for worse. Just learning for that, obviously, was new for all of us. But I know that we're a better team for the experiences we faced last year. Our quarterback being back healthy with a chip on his shoulder, just like everyone else on this team, with the way the last season ended. Even with all that adversity faced, we still fought our way into the playoffs, beat a really good Chicago Bears team, had every chance to beat the New Orleans Saints in their place, up 14-0 down there in the first quarter. Still had every opportunity to end the season how we wanted to. We just didn't get it done.
You're close to Carson Wentz. How frustrated has he been in December and January of the last 2 years not being able to play football with your season on the line?
Yeah, he's frustrated, obviously, but I think he never really shows it to people on the outside. He's been extremely happy for Nick's success, the organization's success, but he is eager to be out there for 16 games, 18 games, 19 games, whatever it may be the guy that's leading us to Super Bowls, lifting the Lombardi Trophy, but he would never let anyone see him sweat, and I think a lot of it comes from his faith, his perspective on life. He's not living and dying with every play on the football field, but at the same time, one of the most competitive people and one of the people that really enjoys the kind of games within a games. How can he get better each and every day? How can he lead us better each and every day? I'm really excited to see him this year.
The Carson Wentz you saw play in mid-2017 when he was a top 2 or 3 MVP candidate versus the guy who is opening training camp and you've practiced with now for a few days. What is the 2017 Wentz versus the 2019 Wentz like?
From a player, I think very similar. I think, he's one of the most talented players I've ever been around. His leadership capabilities, probably the best leader I've ever been around. And he's been through the ringer too. Like 2017, it seemed like everything went well for us except for his injury at the end of the year. And so he's just been through it all. He's seen it all. He's just cherishing each and every day to be out there. Really focused on just being a great leader for this team, the best possible player he can be for us. And it's going to be a good year.
You had so much go right for you last year personally, 116 catches. When you're basically catching 8 balls a game, which you averaged last year, you can't be a lot better than that. But now you've got Dallas Goedert, who, another year in this system. You get Deshaun Jackson back. You've got so many weapons on this offense.
Yeah.
What's going to happen this year to you personally if your numbers are not quite the same?
It's going to be great as long as we're winning games. I mean, if you look at the past 2 years for me, 2017, we win a Super Bowl, have a good year. Last year, we didn't win a Super Bowl, had a great year from an individual standpoint, people would say. And I can tell you 2017 was a lot more fun than 2018 for me personally, even though I was catching the ball, getting the ball often. Team success is so much more enjoyable than individual success. And so I'd much rather be a part of a team that's playing deep into January, February, that's winning games September, October, November, than being on a 4-6 team at midseason but having 80 catches. I'd much rather have that team success. I never played the game for individual accolades. I feel like I've improved this offseason as a player. Always trying each and every offseason find a couple ways to get better. And so I feel like I'm a better player, and whether that shows up in the amount of catches, it may not. But in terms of being a more explosive player, Bringing in a guy like Deshaun Jackson, where safeties have to back up, could lead to more explosive plays for me. So it might not be just reception numbers, but it could be more yards per catch. It could be more X plays. It could be more touchdowns. Whatever it may be, I feel like I've improved. But whether that is reflected in the stats is not indication of whether I've improved or not.
Zach Ertz, have a great year.
Thank you, Peter.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.